When Dáil Éireann had risen from its first sitting right here in this room, it was greeted outside by thousands of supporters. The First Dáil had shown that Ireland would no longer accept the rule of Westminster. Today, Sinn Féin carries on in the unfinished business of these great leaders whom we've spoke of today, who stood in this very room in 1919. It now gives me great pleasure to introduce our leader, who without a doubt is the best leader in this country by a country mile. Folks, it needs no more introduction other than to say, Mary Lou McDonald, the stage is yours.
So, Díobh Galera Corja, agus táim lánsásta bhean soliv tróna an ócád starúil seo. Is muid cumóra céad bliain an Céad Dáil, agus tá sé iontach slua mór a eáil ansa aniu. You are very, very welcome, one and all. So friends, 100 years ago in this very place, revolutionary Ireland found its voice. 3 years after the Easter Rising, in April 1916, the British believed that they had silenced Irish republicanism. They banished us, they imprisoned us, they bereaved us, and still we rose, and the people spoke. Ordinary people had been abandoned to tenements and left to the mercy of the landlord classes. Healthcare, where it existed, was only for the wealthy, and TB was rife. Workers had no rights, brutalised and abused by the bosses. Dublin was deemed the second city of the empire, an empire on which the sun never set. And the people of this city, our city, my city, gave that empire its answer. The election of 1918 saw Republicans win 73 of the 105 available seats on this island, and the Irish people had declared for a united, independent Ireland and an egalitarian republic. For the first time, working class men and some women were entitled to vote, and they voted for Sinn Féin. Markievicz became Ireland's and Europe's first female cabinet minister. And Republican TDs abstained from the British Parliament and established an all-Ireland Parliament, Dáil Éireann. The members of the Dáil declared independence, seeking international recognition for the Irish Republic. And when Cathal Brugha read to this hall delegates, you understand from what is asserted in this declaration that we are now done with England. Let the world know it, and those who are concerned bear it in mind. Of course, it wasn't only about breaking the link with England. It was about building a new, an equal, a liberated Ireland. The First Dáil issued to the Irish people and to the world a progressive vision of what the Irish Republic should look like. The democratic programme declared that the nation's sovereignty extends not only to all men and women of the nation, but to all its material possessions, the nation's soil and all its resources, all the wealth and all the wealth-producing processes within the nation, and that all right to private property must be subordinated to the public right and welfare. So these words outlined a truly revolutionary Ireland governed by and for the Irish people, an inclusive republic of equal citizens. The democratic programme outlined how the resources of this country should come under the democratic control and used for the benefit of all the people of the island. We know that the principles of the democratic programme have never been implemented nor made a reality for the people of our country. Instead, the revolutionary First Dáil was forced underground, and the Irish people were subjected to the terror of the Black and Tans, the Civil War, counter-revolution and partition. Partition not only divided our island and our people, it created two conservative states and economies controlled and run in the interests of privileged elites, north and south. A minority prospered and masses of citizens were abandoned to emigration, repression and conflict. Partition divided the national movement from the labour movement, the women's movement and other social movements. It fractured Irish society in multiple ways. And James Connolly called it right when he predicted that partition would lead to a carnival of reaction on this island, because that is what happened. In place of a genuine Republican vision as espoused at the First Dáil. As we mark various centenaries over the coming years, we need a very honest appraisal of the reactionary nature of the two states that emerged on this island and how that continues to impact on the people of Ireland today. Inequality was and is at the heart of the two partitionist states, and we continue to live with that legacy. Workers today remain vulnerable. It may not be in heavy industry, in the factories of old, but we have the shops, the retail outfits, the offices and the call centres. Power is now back in the hands of the bosses. And where once a job was a route out of poverty, that is no longer the case. In this state where once we were secure that our children would find a home, we now have children reared in hotel rooms. The landlord class once again has the whip hand on tenants, and they're rewarded with generous tax concessions. We have a two-tier health system, and the rights of citizens in the north continue to be undermined. So it is time now to once again take inspiration from those who broke away from Britain and established on Céad Dáil. They looked beyond the here and now. They looked to the future. And we need to do that also, because we don't have to accept the system as it is. In 2019, we don't have to accept a housing system that is so flawed that children have nowhere to call home. We don't have to accept the disgraceful scenes of masked thugs dragging people from their homes at the demand of banks and the vulture funds. We don't have to, and we will not bow to an economic system that is increasingly unequal and precarious. We don't have to accept an unequal and unfair distribution of wealth and power. We don't have to accept the artificial division sown between Irish people by those who impose partition to protect their power and their interests. Because these things, my friends, are not ordained by a divinity or by the laws of nature. These are the consequences, the deliberate, the predictable consequences of the policies of successive governments. What the revolutionaries who set up the First Dáil tell us is that we can change the system, that a better way is possible. that things can be different, but we must make it happen. So, of course, a united Ireland is possible. The border which continues to divide our island and our people is becoming ever less tenable in the face of national and international events. Brexit, along with other political and societal changes taking place, will continue to drive events towards the logic of Irish unity. And we do now have a historic opportunity to build that united Ireland by peaceful and democratic means. And we need to outline very clearly the type of united Ireland we seek. So let me restate the words of Connolly. If you remove the English army tomorrow and hoist the green flag over Dublin Castle, unless you set about the organisation of the Socialist Republic, your efforts would be in vain. You see, the policies of Micheál Martin or Leo Varadkar or any of the rest of them are really no different from the Tories at Westminster. They starve the public sector of funds. They hand control of housing and health to the private sector. And they encourage a race to the bottom for workers' rights, and they divide our people. We have, it is undoubted, recently witnessed very major milestones in moving towards a more tolerant and liberal society. We have progressed in delivering equality for women and our LGBT citizens. But much, much more needs to be done. And we need to understand that we stand for a much broader and deeper version of equality. You see, we have to have economic equality. We have to have economic justice, where the economy serves the needs of the people and not the other way round. So I want to see in 2019 the burden of insecurity lifted from people who are struggling every day to make ends meet. Low and middle income workers need a pay rise in 2019. How's that, Leo and Micheál? And let's honour the legacy of James Connolly by delivering stronger rights for trade unions, to negotiate better pay and conditions for the working class. Let's build a genuine people's campaign for a united Ireland based on progressive demands for a better, a fair society for all. We have an opportunity during this time of political, constitutional and social transition to fix the broken two-state system and to eradicate the social and economic ills that it has created. With the support of the people, we have ensured that the Orange State is gone and not coming back. With the support of the people, we will ensure that the failed 2.5-party system in this state will go also. Some combination of Fine Gael, Fianna Fáil and Labour have ruled this state since partition, and they have consciously normalised inequality, and they believe that poverty is inevitable. They believe that there is an acceptable level of homelessness, and they continue to tell us again and again 100 years since the Céad Dáil, that now is not the time to talk about Irish unity. Well, now is the time. Sinn Féin has no interest in assisting these parties in perpetuating their corrupt system. We have no interest in making up the numbers or sitting on the sidelines. Sinn Féin will enter government to deliver real and revolutionary change. And that means implementing a massive public housing programme to end the scandalous housing and homeless crisis. That means a government that ends the situation where banks, where vulture funds make huge profits in this country while evicting families from their homes. That means completely overhauling our archaic health system and putting the interests of patients, of people, regardless of where they live, regardless of how wealthy or how poor they are, putting them above the profiteering interests of private corporations. And it means a government that pursues vigorously the democratic imperative of a united Ireland. Is trí gaeilge a rithe imeachtaí na Céad Dáil a 100 bliain ó shin. Tharla sé seo mar go bhfuin 100 cruinniú na Dála le níos mó ná stát a bhanú. Bhain si leis an náisiún. Earlis fola tú leis an náisiún a chur chun cinn a bhí I Sinn Féin. Thuaidh sé a bhaim ar I bhfad níos mó ná a ballríocht féin. Bhí Ferbert ag teacht th glúiseacht na gearr cumann agus ar glúiseacht cearta na man ag an am sin. Seo tréimhse abheocáin le tríochta na hÉireann. Agus as seo a tháinig airclann na manstrach chun cinn, mar aon le saothar W.B. Yeats, John Millington Synge agus eile. Scríobh litríocht nua I Gaeilge. Bhí an Cumann Lúclas Gael agus Conradh na Gaeilge ar thús, cainníochta maidir le slánú agus cuimhnú an Gaeilge. Agus 100 bliain ar aghaidh, tá an Gaeilge faoi bhagairt fós. Tá rialtas sa stát seo a dúiltíonn de phobal an Gaeltacht, an tacaíocht agus inéistíocht a chur ar fáilchun or Gaeltachtaí a Urbert. Agus níl ag éirí leis an rialtas níos mó daoine a spreagach chun Gaeilge a úsáid ina saoil. Brahan phobal an Gaelgas na sé gundé an bhagairt céine nuair a dúilítear dóibh a gcearta. Mallart scéal a bheith ann le Sinn Féin. Tacaíonn muid go le cearta phobal na Gaeilge. Tacaíocht anois, acht Gaeilge anois. My friends, as I look to my eyeline at Connolly and Pearce and Markievicz and the smiling face of our hero and patriot Bobby Sands, I think of the countless many others, the men and women of the Irish Republican movement who gave their lives, who gave their all down the generations. And I'm minded that the political establishment considers Sinn Féin to be outsiders. And I'm minded to tell you that we wear that as a badge of honour. We will serve neither king, nor Kaiser, nor corporation. We will never swear an oath to a foreign power. Friends, we are in nobody's pocket. We stand by the people of Ireland. And this party will be in government, whenever that might be, with the support of the Irish people. We will serve at the pleasure of the Irish people and not at the discretion or whim of Micheál Martin or Leo Varadkar. We will only ever enter government on the terms of the Irish people, to deliver a united and new Ireland of the people and for the people. And our focus now, as we meet in this place, is to focus on building Sinn Féin to be the largest party on this island. For Sinn Féin to act again as the major catalyst for political, economic and social progress, with the ability to lead a radical Republican government. For us, history isn't simply history. In a very real and intimate way, the history of 100 years ago is about our realities today. And the Sinn Féin party, the Sinn Féin leadership, Republican men and women the length and breadth of this land, are as determined now in 2019 to achieve our objectives, the objectives of the First Dáil, as were those who gathered here 100 years ago. I feel privileged to stand here. I feel we are privileged to be here. We face many challenges ahead as we write the final chapter to Irish unity. Our long walk to freedom continues. Mandela said, "It always seems impossible until it's done." Well, it's not going to be easy, but then nothing worthwhile ever is. We remain true to ourselves and to each other. We remain true to our ideals. Our final voyage will take courage and patience. It will take generosity and hard work. But friends, we must dare to win. We must plan to win. And we must act to win. And let me tell you, we will win. We will not be distracted or deterred. We will not bow to the will of our opponents. We will have our new united Ireland, and then we will return to this place, and we will remember all those who came before, and we will celebrate. We will live in an Irish Republic of equal citizens. That is our work. That is our destiny. That, my friends, is our final destination. So, Eraigling, Lacéile, Guramila, Mila Mahagwev, and Chucky our law.